there, folks. How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly Ascendance of a Bookworm discussion videos. Today we're going to be talking about this interesting little episode, but before we get into that, I do want to give a big thank you to those of you who shared last week's video over on Twitter. At BubbleLubber, at AnimeFan3535, at Matt87Eagle, at IanSay1, at Mr. Canada2, at Anzoff97, and at Clear Chicken. Thank you all so much for sharing last week's video over on Twitter, everybody, and if you too would like to have your name shouted out in next week's Bookworm video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet, and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout your name out in next week's video. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like, comment, subscribe, screw this guy. Okay, so we get started and we see Myne basically going full church on this one. And it's weird, right? I'm of two minds about this. Like, Myne, basically embracing this thing that she once thought was very silly and is sort of using it as a way to make these kids' lives better. I actually really like that. I'm not sure how I feel about her being indoctrinated. That's a little bit odd, because the church as a whole, I think Myne will eventually, not even eventually, I think Myne is well aware that this shit don't fly, you know, that the church in this world is very corrupt. And it's pretty much it needs a whole reworking. You do have some good folks in there, and there's people who are trying to be good folks, looking at you, Ferdinand, but overall, the being inside that system sort of makes you do things that are questionable. So I feel like Myne sort of embracing that and doing the goofy ass poses was a little bit, I was on one hand, again, I thought it was really charming and sweet that she was using the system to help benefit the lives of these kids in the orphanage. On the other hand, it's ooh, I really hope we don't see Myne going full church at some point, and I don't know. I have concerns about Myne's doing the poses. I will say it looks hilarious, but yeah, I was a little bit concerned, but overall I was mostly just sort of charmed. This episode, I will say, of the episodes that we have gotten this season, it is probably my favorite, I guess. Probably. I as you guys know, I haven't been as into this season as I was the previous season, but with this episode, I am seeing more of the downtown characters. You know, I would prefer if we stayed focused on the downtown characters, because honestly, while I don't have anything really against a whole lot of the church characters, I just don't really find them as engaging. Gil to me is just sort of Lutz Diet. He's Diet Lutz, or Lutz Light. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna be just know that every time I say Gil in the back of my head, I'm saying Lutz Light. I'm not gonna say Lutz Light, even though I want to, because I think it's funny, but I know that if I were to refer to him as that going forward, it would get everybody's tighty-whities in a bunch, so I'm not going to do that. But know that I'm thinking it very loudly. But yeah, again, I like Gil, but he just, now, because of his, face turn, he just kind of reminds me of Lutz, and I'm man, I would have preferred if Lutz was just in these roles, but, I mean, in fairness, Lutz is there, all the time, so I'm why do we need Gil? But at the same time, at least I can respect that Gil had solid character growth. I may not be as attached to him as I am to other characters, but you cannot deny that his turn was good. I think Gil's turn was good. Delia's seems a little bit rushed. Fran seems all over the place, like I said last week, but at the very least he is caring. It's just in a Fran type of way. I think the whole orphanage element of the episode is the strongest point, because you actually see Myne taking care of these kids and making these kids' lives better, and at the end of the day, that's not a bad thing, nor will it ever be a bad thing. I have to give Myne my absolute respect on that front. What I also love is that Myne is I don't love it as much as I think it's just kind of okay, I see you, Myne, I see what you're doing. She's basically pulling a Benno and saying hey, if you want to eat, you gotta work, and if you want a reward, then you gotta work for it. One of the kids says hey, wait a minute, the alms of the gods are supposed to be given out evenly, and Myne's yeah, these aren't alms of the gods, these are rewards. And they were baked potatoes with butter, I believe, which admittedly sounds kind of awesome right about now, but it was Myne going hey man, yeah, alms of the gods are given out evenly, that's true. But if you want a little bit extra, if you want to get yourself a little bit something, then you gotta work a little bit harder. And I kind of like that. I like that element. I will say, somebody in the Crunchyroll comments made me laugh because they were like, child labor never looked so cute. And I was like, yeah, like, it is a little bit shady of mine to be like, wait a minute, I can use these kids to help me make paper, and since I'm doing that, technically I'm making them work and giving them rewards, so they're eating better and they're actually getting exercise, and I mean, like, it's technically beneficial for them, but like it's also a little bit beneficial for me. So there you go. Like, it's like, okay, I see you, Myne. I see you. It's a little bit diabolical, but at the same time, I see you, and it's better than what they were doing. So I definitely have to give Myne that. I will say it's also cool seeing Gunther like actually doing stuff in the show again. Gunther is one of my faves. I know I have many faves, and they're all the downtown characters. But yeah, Gunther, I was happy to see Gunther again. I would have liked to have seen Otto also go with the kids, but then if Otto and Gunther are both gone, then who's guarding the gate? So I understand why. But yeah, it was nice to see like Gunther and Turi as well. Turi was there too. Like Turi, Lutz, and Gunther taking the kids to the forest, teaching them how to forage, helping Myne find the material she needs for paper. Really cool. Like you see Lutz carving out the bark. You see Gunther keeping the kids in line, telling them where to go, how to get places without getting into too much trouble. It was really good. I actually really liked that. I'd like to see Gunther be more involved in the storyline, if at all possible. I recognize that since Gunther is the town guard, that sort of makes things a little bit difficult for him to get involved with all of the stuff that Myne's up to. So I definitely understand on that front why it would be difficult, but it's just, he's my boy. So I just like seeing Gunther. And yeah, on that front, that's pretty much all I have to say. I will say that there is like an additional little thing. There's this new character, Wilma, who is basically introduced as being this like caretaker for the kids. She's gonna be helping Myne at the orphanage. And she's also sort of an artist, like she has like artistic ability. So when Myne decides to give out the reward, she also decides like, well, while I'm doing it, a good reward would be to help these kids learn while also giving them something to do at the orphanage when they're not working. So something fun to do. So she's still actually like improving their lives while at the same time actually teaching them something. Some proper edutainment, if you will. And this time it's not boring computer games, it's flashcards, which admittedly are also very boring. But when you're an orphan kid in the middle of a isekai-esque, like old school era, yeah, flashcards probably gonna be your best option for edutainment. And it works. The kids are actually learning and having fun at the same time, and it's cool. I like Myne properly helping these kids improve their lives. It's genuinely the best part of the episode for me is seeing Myne like work on helping these people. It's a little bit fast. I will say there's parts of this episode that felt very rushed in terms of not only its narrative but also like production wise. I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but there was like certain animations, like looping animations, like of the kids running into the forest was like moving weird. Like you could really notice how janky, not even janky, just like how like unconnected the background was to the characters. It was very strange. The first 2 minutes being like a recap felt very odd. There's like camera zooms that just felt like weird and out of place. Like production wise, I feel like things are kind of rushed. Admittedly, yeah, like if there was any time on planet Earth that I would be totally okay with there being production like rushes or production issues, it would be right now in the current climate that we're living in. I am more than willing to brush under the rug. That's totally fine. I will say pacing wise, it's I don't know, like it felt weird. Like Delia's whole thing felt rushed. Fran's whole thing felt rushed. I don't know. I'm of two minds about it. Where like it feels too rushed in some areas and kind of slow in other areas, specifically looking at Ferdinand. Again, we will get there. I want to talk a little bit about the whole like Star Festival, which I thought was going to be a bigger deal, but not really. It's just kind of like a fun little event where people throw fruit at each other, which is odd, but they throw fruit at couples, I guess, and the kids of the downtown area, they kind of partake in this yearly event. And at the church, like the adults go to the adults of the town go to the church around that time. So the church is very busy. So Myne is in charge of making sure that the orphans aren't getting in the way of things and all this. And again, like Ferdinand's just kind of a big dick about it for some reason. Like I don't know why he's such an ass, but he's like really aggressive for no reason. Myne's just like, well, yeah, I can keep them busy, but like, can we have them doing something instead of just locking them up in the orphanage? Like, can they go play out, like, away from the church? Is that cool? And he's like, I guess. Like, he's just like, I suppose we could do that. You gotta keep those kids out of the, like, what? Why are you such a dick? Like, I understand that, like, what you're doing. You explained that last week. And I'm pretty sure last week I even said, like, I get why he's the way he is, but it doesn't mean that he's not a dick. Like, he's just a jerk for no reason. And it becomes even more so. You know what? Like, forget the Star Festival, because, like, I was going to go into it, because, like, Lutz gets cool stuff to do, but you guys already know that I love Lutz, so you can assume that while he showed up and he got to, like, fight the Trombe, I thought it was really neat. But realistically, I got to talk about Ferdinand. This man's a jerk. Like, this man blows my mind. Like, I don't understand why he's such a dick. I shouldn't say that. I do understand why he's doing what he's doing. It's, well, like, not fully, but, like, he did tell us a little bit last week, so I get it. But, like, the character is so bizarre to me, because, like, in some cases he's nice to Myne, in other cases he's mean to Myne. Like, this dude, I don't know what's going on with him. He flip-flops like nobody else on this show. The only one who can maybe rival him is Fran, and Fran's at least starting to become, like, a proper character without flip-flopping all over the place. I don't know, Ferdinand, he bumming me out. This dude's just really bumming me out. And when he, like, threw Myne into detention, which is basically just throwing her into solitary confinement for the day, and then he's like, oh, she's fallen ill again? Like, yes, we've been over this with you twice. This is your third time now that you've had Myne fall ill around you. Like, this is time 3. Are you dense? Like, I was so like, what the hell? And when Fran's like, this is why I told you, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, you were worried about her physical state instead of her social standing? Like, yes, dude. Like, what? Like, this goes beyond, like, making a character frustrating into, like, this is now, like, Ferdinand's just dumb to me. Because it's like, okay, like, so this is the third time you've told this, and you claim that Myne's dumb? Like, the writing of Ferdinand is too all over the place for me. Like, some days I get it, other days I don't. Some days he's, like, really nice, other days he's a tremendous jerk. And honestly, I feel like every time there's something great, something about season 2, like, some other aspect of the episode is, like, jarring, like, just jarring for me. And that's my issue with season 2, is, like, every time I'm like, that's cool, I don't like that. Like, I don't know. It is improving. I will say season 2 is getting back to a place that I enjoy. Season 2 is slowly starting to get back to the stuff I liked about Ascendance of a Bookworm season 1. I only hope it continues that trend, and I hope Ferdinand gets his act together, because, like, whoever is on series comp, please fix Ferdinand. Holy cow. With that said, everybody, I'm going to wrap up my thoughts here. Question of the day today. Of all the fruit in our world, which one do you think could be used to absorb mana? Let me know in the comments. And that's gonna do it for today's video, everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then by all means hitting that like button and leaving a comment down below is a great way to help out this channel, as it pleases the almighty YouTube algorithm. So if you choose to do so, kudos to you. And if you're feeling extra supportive today, you can go ahead and check out all the links in the description. One goes to my Twitter, another one is to our Discord server, another one to our merch store if you feel like grabbing yourself a mug, and of course, our Patreon page. And speaking of the Patreon page, I do want to give a big thank you to those of you in the T Squadron who support this channel month to month. Let's go ahead and do the Earl Grey shoutouts. Izevi, Andrew W, Branson C, Bria Rose, Calvin A, Crowbar of Irony, Daniel G, Digger the Fox, Dominic G, Emily, Ionos, Urza, Ginkotaku, Godzilla Fan, No For Nothing, Maria T, Marshall B, Mater, Mirth Mouser, Cell, Shadow Creative, Stephen G, Sakochi, The Suavest Orange, Tristan G, and Veridon. Thanks so much for your continued support over on Patreon, everybody, and if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then be sure to check out the first link in the description to check out our Patreon page. That is a huge way to support the channel. And again, be sure to check out the other stuff in the Discord as well. Go join our Discord. It is now public. You can all join. Everybody can hop in the Discord. Follow me on Twitter if you want me to ramble at you even more. And until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.